Alrighty, y'all. So the other day I made a video. I think this was about a week ago. I made a video basically saying, is Isabel finally saved, right? And basically I had used her with the monstrous trio being, Little Mermaid, Crown, and Helm, because these three together with a lot of DPSs are just, it's quite cracked, right? But back then Arcana did not exist, and I find it funny because the next update after I make that video, they drop a character specifically who buffs up Isabel big time. So essentially we're going to be using Arcana, right, with Isabel and the monstrous trio. I do have Helm's full favorite item as well, so she's going to be able to do some damage as a secondary burst 3, but we're really realistically just seeing how hard Isabel can hit with the buffs she's getting from Arcana and then the buffs that she's getting from the monstrous trio. So I'm very excited for this one. We're going to see how this goes. Obviously Little Mermaid, Helm, and Crown are self-explanatory. I've explained them in almost every single video I've done for any type of showcase because it's just nasty with those three. But let me put you guys on game, right? I think I'm going to go to Isabel. Okay, Isabel is not going to do much until after this full burst. And not only that, her burst skill, the first time you use it doesn't actually do damage. I don't believe it does actually. Let me just double check, right? It does a little damage. 118%, but other than that, no, not really. But this right here is when Isabel is going to pop off, and if we keep looking at Isabel, right, 27 million, 38 million, 41 million, 45 million. Isabel is going to pop off with her normal attacks, and you guys can see Isabel is really shooting, right? And with the reload speed with this team, and the attack damage buffs with this team, the attack buffs with this team, Isabel is going to pop the hell off. So this is the second burst skill, so now her burst skill is doing a bit more damage, right? A bit more damage, but she needs to use her burst skill 3 times to fully be stacked up on her marked target ability. So what's her damage right now? 100, and okay, she's not gonna hit the hardest on this team. And this is what I mean when I say Arcana is cool and all, but it's nothing too crazy, because Arcana isn't making Isabel hit godlike numbers. She's just making Isabel hit what Isabel should have been hitting. Realistically, that's what I think. I think Arcana is literally making Isabel hit whatever Isabel was supposed to be hitting, right? She's a pilgrim at the end of the day, and she was weaker than a lot of the characters in the game. So it's the fact that it took them to make a summonable characters 3 years later, almost 3 years later after Isabel comes out, which was the release of the game, for her to start hitting as hard as she should have been since day freaking 1, is quite comical. But what's her damage at right now? She has the highest damage here, 300 million, but obviously Little Mermaid and Helm are close. There's no overload gear or anything like that on Isabel, so she is nerfed to a lot right now. She's only 555 and she has no overload gear, where my Helm and my Little Mermaid and my Crown all have overload gear and stuff like that. And the only reason why I'm not on scope locked is because they're almost level 400 regardless. The only difference is they all become 10 10 10 and core 7 without the overload gear. And then Helm also loses her favorite item ability if I put her on the scope lock, so it's it doesn't really matter to me. But Isabel, if you guys cannot disagree, Isabel's damage is not bad anymore, right? Is it anything oh my god, jump for joy? No, but it's not bad whatsoever. I mean, I would say it's not the greatest actually. But when I say not bad, I'm not trying to make it seem oh, it's good, but it's not it's, I would say it's in the middle of good and bad, right? Or I would say it's in the middle of average and good, right? Because it is average. I would say her damage now is average, which is still kind of crazy, because it's what does it look like? What does it look like when you have Arcana buffing up Isabel for her to hit average damage? It's quite concerning. It kind of shows how bad Isabel was. It's not like Isabel's not getting any buffs as well. She's getting a 180 attack damage and attack buff. That's all it took for Isabel to still hit only average numbers. It's quite concerning. But hey, at the end of the day, I think that oh my, yeah, I'm not gonna. I just got favorite item Helm's burst skill, and let me tell you, for someone who's not type advantage, she does hit quite hard. I will say, for someone who's not type advantage right now, favorite item helm does hit quite hard when you decide to use her burst skill against a boss. Like, yeah, that's quite crazy. She's beating, but she has overload gear and all that stuff, but still. What is her number real quick? I'm just curious. 650 to 709. Okay. Quite crazy. It's what it is. But yeah, 2 point something billion. Isabel not hitting the hardest, but Isabel still hitting quite hard. Like, Isabel isn't doing bad whatsoever, but it's not anything I would jump for joy for. Okay, literally the last 10 seconds are going to Isabel. Maybe we can get Helm to get her burst skill off, especially with the burst skill we have. Yeah, there we go. Helm is gonna get her burst skill off. And that's gonna do some damage. Boom. And we're done. Okay. So we ended up getting 2.5 billion. Helm ended up getting 824 million, but 755 million from Isabel. Like, I've never in my life thought we would get to see a day where Isabel is hitting 755 million. Not to mention, again, my Isabel is 555 and has no overload gear. That is quite cool, especially since it's like, if she did have, you know, 10 10 10, or if she was overload geared, or if she did have overload gear, heck, even if she had like a collection item on her, she would probably be hitting over 1 billion damage, which is quite crazy to see. Isabel hitting over 1 billion damage, we never thought in our lives we would see that day. But I guess with Arcana, and if you did already invest into Isabel, you would see that. I think I want to like find somebody who has an overload gear setup for Isabel and try that account just to see what Isabel is hitting with overload gear and all that stuff. But realistically, like, this is not a real team you would use. The monstrous trio and then Arcana, I would take you guys out of shooting range and showcase her, but I don't have her, so it's like I can't do that. But like, is the damage good enough for me? 755 million from Isabel being type advantage is great. And again, I know she is a lot less invested compared to the other characters, but Little Mermaid still is quite close to her. But Little Mermaid does hit hard and have full overload gear. Helm hit harder than her, but Helm also has full overload gear. And it's like, wow, I don't even know what Helm's skill levels are. Let me just take a look real quick, y'all. Let me just take a quick look. What is my Helm? She's full 5, 10, 9. Of course she's gonna hit as hard, right? She's core 7 and 5, 10, 9, and she, you know what I mean? Like, this come on now. But hey, Isabel, I'm okay with it, I guess. And she had Tetra gear on. But 555 is the cubes. Let me make sure everybody had the cubes. Yeah, I'm fine with it, I guess. It's okay. Let me know what you guys think. It's your boy Zxous. I'm out. Peace.